the term "be careful what you wish for" is something that really does get bandied around quite a fair bit, particularly in football. But I think it resonates quite a bit with West Ham fans because if you remember, Sam Allardyce said that when he was replaced as manager and Slaven Bilic came in the following season. It was our last year at the Boleyn. And of course, it was an amazing season. We finished 7th, the Pyatt season. It was just amazing. So it was always one we kind of threw back at Big Sam, actually, as a sort of a bit of, in jest a little bit. However, I do think it actually, there is something in that. I do think you do need to be a little bit careful because it's very easy to dismiss what you've got and want a change when it's not necessarily the change is going to be for the better. And certainly a West Ham takeover falls into that category. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'll be honest. Like every time I feel like there's a bit of a noise that there's a rumour of a takeover, I immediately get a little bit excited about it and sort of get a bit, think start dreaming of what it could be. However, this doesn't actually fall into that category at all. It's actually the complete opposite of it. But first of all, let's talk about West Ham before we go into what's going on with Everton, etc. So West Ham, of course, we're not up for sale officially, but you think unofficially we are. I think that the fact is that now that embarrassment clause in the London Stadium deal is now passed, and the fact that David Sullivan doesn't have to spend or pay out a certain percentage of any sale of the club to the government or the local authorities, whatever, then you imagine now that he's got a bit of a taste for wanting to sell the club if the right offer comes in. Now with this, that we've had rumoured interest, haven't we, from various parties. We've talked about it recently on the channel, the Saudi links from the Manchester United sort of deal that never seems to be happening, or the sale, whatever, that just drags on and on. There's US consortiums, etc. Now, a few months ago, it was back in February, we did a video regarding some interest from the US consortiums. And I still think that is valid. I think there are US consortiums that are possibly looking at West Ham. But one of them that came up was this 777, this partnership, this interest investment group. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but I just wanted to let you know this video is actually sponsored by Circle and specifically their game 5 Match Millions. I'm going to be honest with you, okay, that we're very picky about who we work with on the channel. For the West Ham Way, we are. And when they approached us to sponsor the channel, we said, well, okay, but I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll basically use your app for a couple of weeks just to make sure that we're happy with it. I've got to say, it's really good and very addictive, I'll warn you. Basically, the way it works is they pick 5 games for the weekend, Premier League football games, okay? And each game, you pick a number. You can do it either randomly, or you do a lucky dip, or you pick the numbers that you want. And the way it works is that it's numbers from 1 to 27, and basically the die will spin depending on what happens in the game. So if there's a throw-in, it moves 2 places to the left. If there's a yellow card, it goes 4 to the right. And basically, wherever it ends at the end of the game, it'll land on a number. And if you get that number, then you win. So basically, you can win up to £1 million if you get all 5, okay? And the first, so if you match 1, you get your money back plus a couple of quid extra, blah, 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 blah. And basically, I think even if you match 3 numbers, you get 75 quid. So it's very, very good. And yeah, and basically all it is £2 a week to play. Now, if you click on the link below and type in West Ham Way, next weekend's games, you get absolutely free and get to give it a go. So why not just give it a go? Got nothing to lose. I've got to say, it's really, really good. And as I say, I've won already twice. It might be beginner's luck. It might well be beginner's luck, but I'm definitely going to carry on playing. But yeah, so click the link below, West Ham Way. Good luck. And basically, the reason we were linked with them is because their purchase or so-called proposed purchase of Everton was falling through. And there was another group that were going to be taking it over, etc., etc. It all went on and on. And they were then heavily linked to looking at West Ham. And I'll be honest, when I first saw it, I was excited. Like I just said, like immediately do. Oh, who are these? And then I looked into it and I thought, no, not at all. It was not at all for me. It was a group actually that I'd be very, very worried if they took over West Ham. Now, it appears, according to the main outlets, the news outlets, that a takeover Everton is now back on, and in fact, is very close to being concluded. I mean, I don't want this video to be a dig at Everton and Everton fans at all, because I know that they will probably be partly, some of them be quite relieved because I know they're desperate for change of their ownership. But I've got to be honest. I wouldn't be overly thrilled with 777. That's just as a West Ham point of view. I really wouldn't be. I mean, let's look at Everton for a minute. I mean, they're a club that's straight away, I always think there's a bit of alarm bells why they want to buy Everton. I'm not having a go at Everton in that regard, but I'm just talking about at the moment. They're a massive football club, rich history. But you look at them at the moment, and my word, they've got some real issues, haven't they? I mean, I'll just jot them down here. The £430 million losses they've reported in the last few years, which is ridiculous. I mean, relegation has been something that seems to be looming around that club all the time. It's been like the last 3 years. You consider Everton being a favourites going down. I mean, they've, well, I think they're third from bottom at the moment, or second from bottom, 1 point from 4 games. They look like a club that's really in trouble. And of course, now they've got this financial fair play situation hanging over them. So immediately I was thinking, when they were being linked with all these takeovers, I'm thinking that it's a strange club you'd want to go and invest in at the moment. And of course, so a big, huge thing I've missed out of Everton is their stadium. Don't get me wrong, it's a stadium that they see as taking them forward, and why not? But the fact is, I think it's £230 million over budget at the moment in terms of what they need to finish the project. I think they're having to look at getting investment to see it out, and they just seem in a real mess at the moment as a football club. And it was all these sort of things that were happening at that club that made me think, well, I know there's a few recent things there I've just listed, but at the time that made them turn their attention away and look at West Ham, the 777 investment group. And I, as I said, I was very worried, very worried about it. And the reason being, I was worried about this particular organisation was because they're not a business that seems to have any love for the football club. They're just a business that are purely there to invest and make a return on their investment. And I just don't see that. I mean, certainly not for our sort of football club, not for West Ham. I wouldn't want that. And I know that, let's go back to my initial point when you say be careful what you wish for. Now, if it was a toss-up between the two, I'd much rather stick with what we got in terms of Sullivan, Brady, etc. And I know that people are desperate for a change, but I've got to be honest. I think, like I say, you've got to be very careful when you say you want a change, because I wouldn't want to change for anything. And I'll tell you what, reading the news today and seeing the news, and it is very much official, it seems, in regards to this 777 taking over Everton, I breathe a real sigh of relief, because I would not want them taking over West Ham. Now, a lot of people said regarding this that, well, David Sullivan wouldn't sell to them anyway, because David Sullivan has made it very clear his intention is, if he's going to sell West Ham, it would be to someone that would take the club forward. He'd be very careful. Now, I'd like to believe that. And a big part of me actually does. I do think he would care about who he'd be selling to. He wouldn't just sell to anyone, considering, how long he's been at the football club, etc., etc. However, if you look back at his previous record, when he sold Birmingham City, it was to Carson Young. I don't know if you remember this, but he sold the club to this, I think he was Chinese businessman, and he's now in prison. So, and it crippled that football club. So it was a real problem for them. So that does worry me as well. I do think if the price is right, Sullivan would sell, and he probably wouldn't be too fussed. So I've got to be honest, the fact that 777 are now taking over Everton, let's just say that is now going to definitely happen. I think that West Ham have seriously dodged a bullet there, because they are not a club. They are not, an ownership that have got a great track record at all. I looked at their portfolio. Let's say, I mean, for a start, they don't just invest in football clubs; they invest in many other times of industry. So they're not predominantly a big football. There's not a love for football club. It's purely money. For me, they are a business that look at spreadsheets every month and go, right, that's our club. We've got that coming in. We've got TV money coming in. Tick, 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 tick. That's how they operate. They don't operate in a way that they love the club and want to take the club forward. I don't see it that at all. And you look at Everton and you do worry. As I say, this isn't a dig at Everton fans. I'm sure there are some that are probably happy about this, and look, good luck to them. But I would be very concerned. I mean, looking at their clubs, they've got a club in Brazil called Vasco da Gama. They're 18th currently in the league. A German club, Hertha Berlin, they're 17th out of 18 teams in their league. Italian club Genoa, they're 14th. You've got them Belgian club, Stade Liège, they're 14th in a league of 16 teams. I mean, these are not good, and apparently, if you read into them, that they have regular protests against them from these clubs. So I've got to say, I am today reading this really relieved, really pleased that is someone that is not now going to be looking at West Ham, because I am not, at all looking at for any kind of ownership like that. Yes, I've always kind of wanted that change and take it to the next level. And I do believe that will come at some point. But I'd say I wouldn't want it to be anyone. And this is certainly not a group I'd want it to be. But look, as I've said, I want to make it very clear. This video is not a dig at Everton fans. I appreciate that there will be some Everton fans be pleased with this, and good luck to them. I hope it does work out, because at the end of the day, they have had their, been through the mill, haven't they, with their current owners, and I know they've been desperate for change. And I think the way that current ownership have treated their fans has been pretty shocking, really, to be honest. So I do feel for them, but I'm not convinced that this new ownership or potential ownership is going to be any good for them. And I'll be honest, I'll say my final thought in this is, if it was a toss-up right now between David Sullivan and 777, I know where my money would be.